is,
Yes.
okay. Okay.
Yes, you can just send me the link later. Okay, sorry, you can continue, please.
Okay. So we're
Hello.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, the connection got interrupted suddenly. So yeah, sorry for that. Yeah. Okay.
since we're
So
recording, let me change my background here. Just a second.
what?
Just a second here.
Okay.
There, it looks more professional.
Okay. Okay, then that's really interesting. I was saying that you have joined mashallah since 1993. So you have truly kicked off this journey long while ago.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. So if I may ask you right now, you are a member of how many clubs?
We're both myself and my wife are a member of 9 clubs.
Wow, amazing. All of them in the United
including
States?
2 that are outside the United States, Mann Toastmasters, and we're also a member of a club that in Perth, Australia.
Wow, Australia. That's amazing. Then how many, since you are a member of 2 clubs outside USA, I would assume that you have joined, you have visited many clubs outside USA.
Yes.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think by my count, it's around 25 different countries. I don't know how many clubs, but I've visited around 25, 30 countries. I've never sat down and figured it out, but you know, exactly. But I came with a rough estimate around 25, 30 clubs.
That's amazing. Then let me start actually with the clubs inside the USA, because since you are a member of 9 clubs, this means 7 of them are inside the USA, sorry.
That's correct.
So what are the differences that brought you to join those different 7 clubs? Why not 1 or 2 of them?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, what's a couple of the clubs, like there's one club that meets in New Mexico, that's in New Mexico, which is a different state here in the United States.
Okay.
And it's called Off the Cuff Toastmasters, and the meeting is literally a grab bag meeting. It's a 1-hour meeting. It doesn't have all the roles, but you go in there and then the president spins the wheel and you find out whether you're an evaluator speaker or table topic master or time.
Okay, that's
Yeah, so
on front club, let's say.
yeah. There's a club in New York. I don't know, you probably know who David Drebsky is.
Yeah, I've heard about him.
It's Manhasset, Port Washington. This is sort of his home club. Myself and my wife like that club just because this is the way they run the meeting, and they do a couple things that make it, you know, an interesting club. And then I think one of the things about the Perth, Australia club is this, just some of the skills that that they do, where they have like, well, they have the table topic evaluator. They have somebody called the master evaluator, who their job is only to evaluate the evaluators. And then a general evaluator. So you get a bit more experience doing some of the roles that, you know, normally I sort of brush through at the end of the meeting. And then there's one role that every meeting has a tall tale speaker. Every meeting has what's called a soapbox speaker. And that's my favorite role there. It's a 2 to 3 minute humor speech about something that is drives you crazy. So for example, if you were to, I could do a speech on, not to tell you too much, but I did a soapbox speech about the US Postal Service. We don't have the greatest postal service here in the I'm sure every country doesn't have a very good postal service. So there's always something that drives you crazy. So it's that's one of my favorite roles. And then there's a local club there. One of my clubs is an advanced. There's a couple of them that are sort of advanced clubs because the members are advanced Toastmasters. So and they're, before COVID, they were dinner clubs.
Yes.
Right now they're not.
Before COVID, you were a member of how many clubs?
Before COVID, I think it bounced between 4 and 5.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, when it sort of went, well, yeah, it's sort of, we wouldn't look crazy, but it's worth it. For example, you know, in Manama Toastmasters, it's just the level of speaking, and this is the way that and I think you read. I don't know if you read my article, but just the way the meeting was run, and other things about the club. Just you know, when you're speaking outside of your normal culture, country, it's a bit more challenging, because even little things like I can't talk about miles. I have to adjust it to kilometers. You guys don't know what a mile is.
Yeah, yeah. That's true, you know, because like the differences between culture, you know, let's say motivate you, or let's say has that something about it that motivate you to be even different, or allow you to think in ways that you have never thought about before. So
yeah, and I didn't realize this, but in the Middle East, the work week starts on Sunday. I didn't know that till about a month ago when I was talking to Khalid, and he said, "Well, I got to go to it's Sunday, and I'm working. Everybody works on Sunday."
Yes,
For us, I didn't know that. So you know, you learn something new every day.
Yes, 100%. Okay, so then if we speak about Manama Toastmasters, you said one of the things that brought you to Manama Toastmaster was the level of speaking. Was there something else, or?
Just the way the meeting was run. They do the Manama, and this maybe I'm dating myself here. I've been in Toastmasters a long time, and they're a bit more old-fashioned the way, which is good. Not old-fashioned, traditional. I'm going to use the word traditional about how the meetings are run. Here in the United States, sometimes they meeting some of the little things, and you know, like I appreciate the formality, how people refer to each other like Toastmaster, you know, Ollie, or Toastmaster Technology, or DTM. You know, that little formality, that all that stuff has gone away in most of the clubs here in the United States. That formality, and maybe that's part of a cultural thing, but you know, you don't see that formality anymore. Again, I know some Toast. I knew some Toast. He's no longer alive, but I knew a Toastmaster who met actually our Toastmaster founder, actually.
Wow, amazing.
He joined us. This gentleman joined Toastmasters back in the 50s. So, and I knew some other people who go back. So, myself and Linda, we've been exposed to some of that old tradition that's you no longer see in Toastmasters.
Yes. Actually, that brings to my mind another question. Since you have been that long in Toastmasters, what are the things that you have seen in the past and you would prefer that it comes back? And what are the things that were there in the past and you are glad that people are growing or moving past it, you know?
Boy, that's an interesting question. I think a lot of the clubs are, you know, have gotten this run, the way they run, they're a little looser, not, yeah, we have the agenda and everything, but I think people are a bit more informal. You know what? Not every meeting, but I like occasionally going to the club where I have to put on a suit when I'm speaking. I like that. I mean, I know that may sound a little weird, but and there's very few clubs where you do that. The one thing that drives me crazy about Toastmasters is there's still, although it's 2021, we're still relying on a lot of paper to do things like in contests, and I don't think the organization needs to get past it. It's sort of amazing that during COVID, a lot of the adaptation to using things like Google Docs and all that kind of stuff, that was nothing that came out of Toastmasters International in the world headquarters. A lot of districts, a lot of divisions, and even clubs, came up with those things to adapt to COVID. And I don't think world headquarters adapted more as easily as the people in the club. I think the clubs were more adaptable. So get rid of the
Yes.
paperwork.
Yeah, that's that. I totally agree with that, because sometimes papers are there, and most of the time, I would say members would not actually look into them, and they will just go directly into the basket bin. So actually, that's one of the good advices that I believe Toastmasters Club everywhere should start adapting in a way or another.
Yeah.
Okay, then moving back to the topic of the contest that you have just brushed on quickly. To be honest, I want to know, what are your experiences in contests, since you have seen more than one club, and inside USA and outside USA? What are the main differences and similarities between between contesting and contestants in this club?
Well, here I know it varies from district to district here in the United States, because like in my home district, District 33, it's going to be international and humorous. But
Okay.
I sort of gathered that at least in your in District 20, it is 20, yes. Over the course of the year, you're going to do all contests. And I like that. Because one of my favorite contests is the table topic contest. But the District 33, which is where I live, has done it once or twice, but for some reason or other, most people don't like it. I like table topic contests. I also like the evaluation contest. That's I guess that's my contest. That's the one I like. I like to compete in, but they'll do it every year. Whereas in District 20, where Manama's based, they do all the contests. So you have the opportunity. We have the opportunity, and I didn't think about that, but that's another nice thing about being a member of Manama, is you have the opportunity to compete in all the contests if you really like. I'm not a big competitor, but certain contests I like.
Yes. No, actually, yeah, that's because contesting season has just started, and members now are thinking about competing and contesting and all these things. Okay, then
one other comment, and I don't understand that in District 20 and some of the other contest districts outside the United States, I noticed that the judges always have their screen, at least on Zoom, screen muted, and you don't even know who the judge. Here in the United States, they don't do that, and it's like if you've ever been to, I don't know how long you've been a Toastmaster, but if you've ever been to a live contest, if you're a contestant, looking at the audience very quickly who the judges are. So I don't know. I don't understand that, but I don't make the rules.
To be honest with you, yes, whenever you are in live contest, as you have just said, you can easily spot the judges that sorry. You can easily spot the judges. That's the first thing. And especially if it's a club contest or area contest, because the number of people is not that huge, you can easily spot them. But this has been an ongoing debate. By the way, I have been in Toastmasters since 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that always was a debate, that they were saying, no, the judges' identity should always remain secret. And even like last year, I was in this conference between Dubai and some other countries, and one of the Toastmasters from Dubai brought this up. He said we should be able to know our judges. I'm not sure why. Is it in the United States? Do you know the judges? Is it allowed? Like, are they speaking about it, or only it's the fact that you are spotting?
Well, it's sort of easy. I think they're trying to remember the last contest. I think they're actually in a Zoom environment. They're labeled, for the benefit of the chief judge, so they could easily pick them out in the Zoom. But you know, I don't, it's just like, why, I don't know, it's sort of a funny thing. You see sort of different things. For example, in District 17, which is Perth, Australia, they won't, I could be trained here in District 33, but they won't accept my training in District 17. But in District 23, which is New Mexico, which I'm also an officer for off the cuff, they'll accept my training. So it's sort of weird how in some, sorry about that. So when you're in, so some clubs, some districts accept your training in another district, and some don't. Interesting.
Yeah, that's truly interesting, because as you have said, the training should be around the same thing, but maybe they would like just to know that it's up to their standards, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. That's interesting. Have you ever been a judge?
Yes, I've been a judge. I've been a chief judge at the club area division. I've been a judge at a district level contest, and I tell you, judging at a district level is tough.
Yeah, I can understand that, because all of the contestants at that time are of high level, you know, so
Yeah.
It's very hard to spot the differences. And yeah.
Yeah, well, there was one time I was a judge, and this is when our district had 10 divisions. So imagine judging a contest with 10 great speeches.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
actually a tough thing to do, you know.
Yeah, it was very tough.
So yeah. I always feel bad for the judges when all the contestants are good. You feel like, okay, now it's just down to the small things to make the difference. Okay, so what regard between judging and contesting, what do you prefer the most and why?
God. I probably would rather be a judge, because I'm on a good day, I've only got to compete at the district level once, and I'm not, if you're going to compete, you got to consider yourself good enough, to compete at the district level, or if you're going for doing the international speech. And plus sometimes, I don't know, I'm not that competitive. Sometimes I'll have a speech I want to speak about, but I prefer doing judging. It's easier.
Yeah, okay, I can understand. Preparing a speech sometimes can get a little bit hectic, yeah.
It's very time consuming to, and again, you have that also, if you go over 1 second, you could have the best speech in the world.
Yeah, that's true. And that happens many times in Toastmaster, unfortunately.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, then. If I ask you to compare between the level of international contests here in Bahrain and the experience you have in the United States, what would be your thoughts about that?
I've heard some good, every district, whether it's in Bahrain or here in the United States, the level of speaking, when you get up to even at the club level, I mean, Manama has some fantastic speakers like Garaz, and you're a very good speaker. Bilayana, I would not want to compete against them in the Khalid. I would never want to compete, because I know I could do a good speech, but overall, I think that and that's another reason why I'm a member, is I'm in a place where the speaker is better than I am, so I can't help but force myself. But this club has some wonderful speakers, and I think every every district, every club will, well, not every club, but, in every district, including District 20, there are some fantastic speakers. And I think actually, when on my Zoom traveling, I think, people in the United States have this attitude that, okay, world champion, that, they haven't seen some of the level of speaking that outside their country. And when it's just amazing. Sort of American attitude, excuse me for saying this. Sometimes that the only great speakers are they're in the United States.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's why I'm seeing that COVID has allowed us to see more different speakers and being introduced to new cultures. So that by itself, I believe, has brought some new advantages to the Toastmasters. And actually, it has shaped the experience in a new way. So I'm glad for that, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, then if I'm asking you, what is like one challenge or one thing that you want to throw at Manama Toastmasters, something that you believe Manama Toastmaster has to consider? What would
the one
that
thing
be?
a challenge is, I think, the business portion of the meeting needs to run a little smoother. Okay.
I can understand that.
Okay. Sometimes it runs very smooth, sometimes it doesn't. And the other thing is sometimes Manama Toastmasters is not in on time. But I like the parliamentary trick that the Manama Toastmasters uses. Okay, we realize that we're going to end on time, so we'll just throw out a motion to extend the meeting, and we're legal. So and I actually did that here in a club here in the United States a couple of weeks ago, because we weren't going to. Our business meeting was at the end of the meeting was going to go over, put us over. So I just told the president, I moved that we extend the meeting 10 minutes to make, and she had never heard of that trick before.
Okay, that's interesting. Here we use it all the time.
but Manama, we here in Manama, we tend to use that trick, that procedure. We abuse the privilege. Let's put it that way.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Like as much as we can, we always try to be within time, but that's like impossible nowadays, given that sometimes a lot of things happen in the meeting, especially those who don't have knowledge about this technology or extended speeches.
Yeah.
So I can truly see that challenge, and I can truly accept that as a challenge to end our meeting on time. We start on time, but we need to end on time.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then in your experience in Toastmasters, what is the main thing that you believe that Toastmasters has added to you as DTM Allen?
Two things. Two things. First of all, confidence.
Okay.
Because I said, I remember about 6 months after I joined Toastmasters, I went home for a family reunion. My dad, who did not know I had joined Toastmasters, had noticed that I seemed more confident. So I credit Toastmasters for that. And second is that Toastmasters is where I met Linda.
Oh, that's interesting.
Well, yes,
a
a fellow Toastmaster decided to play. I wasn't looking, she wasn't looking, but a fellow Toastmaster just took it upon herself to play matchmaker. So that's how it worked. I wasn't really looking. I wasn't perusing the club to see if I could find somebody for a date. But a friend, both of us, Linda was a member of a different club at the time, took it upon herself to play matchmaker.
Okay, interesting.
But it's not. I don't know if it ever happens in District 20, but it has been known to happen here in a number of the districts here in the United States.
Yes, actually, yeah, it does happen here. It did happen here in District 20. And if I'm not mistaken, there was one experience at Manama Toastmasters before I joined Manama Toastmasters, but I do not remember the name of the members. We can ask our old members, definitely they will know.
Yeah.
But that's interesting information to know, the DTM, Alan.
Yeah, so that's how, yeah, many years ago when a friend decided to play matchmaker. So
Yes.
I don't think
So
Ralph Smedley had that in mind when he founded Toastmasters, but you know, so much the better.
Leadership and communication can result to other things, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, then. If I'm also, I'd like to ask you, from the clubs that you have visited, is there is one club that you feel Manama Toastmasters will benefit a lot from visiting?
I would say the Perth, Australia club. Well, if it's overall, I would say the Perth, Australia club. And I think I've invited Ollie. I know Ollie's visited the club once, just because how much they cram into 2 hours.
Okay.
So just including just, you know, everything, including, I mean, that's, if it were a club here in the United States, it would be Oju Toastmasters, which is an advanced club that I'm a member of. Just because what we do is we have the regular Toastmaster experience, and then we have a keynote experience. And I'm trying to get myself to the level where I could one day be a keynote for that club.
Okay. No, inshallah, you have it in DTM, Alan.
Yeah, I'm sort of challenged myself. I have a topic, but I still don't think you know, the work, you know, it's because, and that's a good skill, because that's another challenge, mountain climb.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually, here that now that you have mentioned that there is speakers bureau here in District 2020. I don't know if you have ever been to the meeting. They have these experiences where they do allow, they do train for keynote speeches or the providing workshop. So once you mentioned that, it just clicked together. So to be honest, I'm interested to pay that club a visit, and I'm gonna put it in my mind. So thank you for mentioning that.
But Oju Toastmasters always has a keynote, and actually Billiana, actually, I think, both Billiana and Khalid have been keynotes for that club.
I remember Billiana, but I didn't know DTM.
I think Khalid, one time Khalid was the, but a couple of months later, Khalid was the keynote for the club. But it's sort of interesting because I like the keynote speaker, because you just never know what, well, you know, but you had such a wide range of things the speakers have spoken on over the years. So like I like that.
Okay,
I think that's a key, you know, being the club actually had a work group within it about people who want to be professional speakers, which I wasn't interested in. I don't aspire to be a professional speaker, but
okay. I have to ask this question. What one speech that you have heard in Toastmaster is still living with you, in a sense? Out of the top.
It was a humorous speech. I don't remember everything, but it was called "Death by Matzo Ball."
Okay. Interesting title.
Yeah, it was a humorous speech many years ago, and I remember it was just so funny. I just remember I was just I thought it was really funny. For some reason or another, that's the one that's that's the first thing that comes to mind is "Death by Matzo Ball."
Actually, this is what I wanted. Things that come like that definitely have something behind them. So it's always interesting to know and to hear such titles.
Yeah.
Okay, then being in Toastmasters, and now that you know some clubs, I'm not sure about the United States, but many clubs here in Bahrain are moving to hybrid meetings. How do you see the future of Toastmasters starting this era?
I think long term, we're all going to be forced to do that. This one again, Oju Toastmasters, we attempted a hybrid meeting this last Saturday, and we thought the Wi-Fi in the restaurant was going to be good enough. It wasn't. Fortunately, we had a plan B using smartphones, so we were able to. I mean, it was a little rocky, but you know, we got through the meeting. But I think really long term, most of the clubs are going to be forced to go to hybrid. I think very few clubs, there's going to be people who are going to, where everybody's going to be wanting to meet in place. I like Zoom in certain clubs because it's nice. I could come home, I could eat dinner, I could log on to my Toastmaster meeting, and then when the meeting's over, I'm home. It's not another half an hour. Okay, trying to leave the meeting, then you got to drive home. It's just not only and then of course the fact that you could visit any club in the world now, as opposed to but those people who don't like Zoom, I think they're missing the point, because I mean, I don't know what you do for what do you do for a living?
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm working in quality assurance. Basically, I'm in IT, but now a couple of years ago, I went to quality assurance. So
okay, well, my point I was trying to make to somebody who was, very negative about Zoom meetings was that even before COVID, many companies were sort of moving toward Zoom type meetings as opposed to sending their people, across. I mean, like here in the United States, across the country, trying to cut back on travel.
Yes.
So all Zoom has done was, push what companies were already trying to do. And if you don't know how to present online, then you're not going to survive. And that's even if you want to be a professional speaker, go around, is you need to know how to present online.
That's true. That's totally, I agree with, especially, and like going within the point that you have said, because I work in a university, they have branches in 8 countries. So it's not always feasible to travel between them. So our meetings were either through Zoom, GoToMeeting, or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, since not everybody have this experience, they feel like, no, Zoom is still not providing the same. For me, I do believe that each of them have the advantages, but as you have said, we have to accept that hybrid is coming and that we have to be as flexible as possible with it.
Yeah, it's just going to be a challenge because it's a lot of work.
Yes, and how to maintain the energy between those who are in the room and those who are online. That will be another challenge, I believe, in that setup.
So, I mean, I mean, so I don't think hybrids. I don't think Zoom's going to go away. I hope.
Yes.
I
hope the same as well.
And I think Toastmasters International, the world headquarters, needs to provide more tools for clubs to, do meetings on Zoom or hybrid. But again, I'm a man with an opinion.
Yes, yeah, no. Actually, I totally agree with you, because this is the kind of a world that we are living in, and they have to be adaptive with it in order to enrich the experience. Because I have to say, I have not benefited a lot from the opportunity of visiting clubs in other countries, but from the few clubs I have visited, I've instantly recognized the differences and the ability to grow and learn. And I'm truly planning to do so. So if they cut the online meeting now, I'll feel so bad I have not started earlier.
I only know a few countries where, like, I think in Taiwan, a lot of the clubs are going back to meeting in person only. But okay, Sunday Sundowners, again, Perth, Australia Club, every other week, they have their hybrid meeting. They'll, one week they'll have the totally Zoom meeting, and then the next meeting they'll have the hybrid meeting. And they do a pretty good job of the hybrid meeting. I'm looking forward to the hybrid meeting from Manama, see how that goes. And I know I know it's going to be a little clunky at first. You know, it's a learning experience. But I think Manama Toastmasters, or at least I understand, we have some IT resources to which a lot of clubs don't have, and that's the big problem.
Yes, yeah. And the idea, I believe, utilizing those resources will be in the benefit. Yes, as you said, the first meeting might be a little bit not there, but at least I'm loving the energy and the preparation for it. So let's see how that will go.
Just bring a backup plan. Bring a backup plan. If you don't, if you're wifey, that's the key thing.
Yes, 100%. Okay. I believe we are approaching the end of it. So I'd like actually to ask you what you would like really to say, or a message that you would like to convey
to Manama?
To Manama Toastmasters.
Okay. Well, I really, one of the few benefits, the silver lining that's come out of COVID is the fact that I think we as a world, at least Toastmaster wise, I can't say the world in general, but at least we as Toastmasters are better connected. And there's so many opportunities there. You know, there's so many opportunities to learn just by visiting other clubs. It's such an enriching experience to learn other, you know, to experience other cultures, and you know, to speak in front of people that you don't really know. I mean, like Simi Valley Toastmasters, I've known them for 28 plus years, so they know me. Manama Toastmasters, they really, they may or may not know me. But it's an enriching challenge to, and I you know, I love, there's something about speaking and being part of a club outside your you know, your area, you know. It's just something about it. It's such an enriching experience. And there are some clubs in District 20 that don't run very well, but you know, they're, again, I guess I was very fortunate by David Drubsky to find out about this club.
Yeah. I can totally understand. Okay, so is there something that we have not spoken about that you feel you would like to bring to the table?
Well, I'm just going to say something, and being a DTM is not, and I hope that I'm not going to offend anybody who's a DTM, but being DTM doesn't mean you know everything. Some people think that, okay. I accept the fact that even if though I have the DTM, I'm still a work in progress. I know some people who attain their DTM and they think they know everything, and you know what, there's a reason why we're still here. And even though after we attain, and because you know, there's, you know, it's just, you know, it's not the end.
I totally understand that, and I always tell them that life is an ongoing learning experience. The moment we believe that we reach the top of it, then we are not gonna grow anymore. So I truly love this attitude, DTM, Alan.
Yeah, well, if I knew everything, you know what, I'd probably be a millionaire.
Yeah. Hopefully one day, inshallah, we'll all reach to that biggest dream of being millionaires. But I truly love the attitude because, yeah, as you have said, being a DTM or holding a specific title does not always mean that you know everything. It's always about the learning experience and your ability to learn, grow, and allow others to grow with you as well.
Yeah, and plus the fact that,
So,
you know,
yeah,
what,
actually,
it's the opportunity to meet so many wonderful people and to know so many. I mean, I don't think my dad would have ever imagined, I mean, you know, myself talking to, you know, based on my cultural background, talking, knowing people, you know, in you know, outside the United States. I don't think my dad would ever have even imagined something like, you know, like what I'm experiencing now.
yeah. Actually, that's reasonable and make lots of sense. And that's one of the benefits of COVID, we have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Toastmasters, of course, as well. Okay, so then before going away, I'd like to check with Toastmaster briefly if she has anything that she would like to bring to the table as well. She has been so silent throughout.
Hello, Toastmaster Tanaji. Sorry, I was taking notes and I didn't want to distract with my video going around. I think you've basically got a lot of information from DTM Allen about clubs in US and you know how things work here in Manama and all around. So we got a fairly good idea of
Okay.
Toastmaster clubs. So we're good to go, Toastmaster Tanaji, unless DTM Allen.
Okay. I gotta figure out how to save what I'm. Just a second here. I just pause. I'm not quite sure how I save recording.
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder if I stop it, it'll ask me to save it.
Yes, I probably you need to
Yes.
save the link somewhere.
Can you hold a second? Just ask my wife. My wife is a techie person of between the two.
Okay.
So just a
Yeah.
second here. I'm going to pause.